Hello everybody, I'm Tommila. Welcome back to Honda Dash Films, the channel where I teach many things, including photography, which is what we're talking about today. Specifically, nighttime photography, or astrophotography. So let's roll that intro and let's get right to the video. When it comes to photography, a phrase gets thrown around a lot. A lot. It's called the 500 rule. Maybe you've heard of this, maybe you haven't. Well, it's a calculation that is used to give you the most useful exposure length to avoid star trails. Now, we all know the Earth spins on its axis, so if you have the shutter open too long, the stars begin to streak across your picture, which if you're trying to do this on purpose, it can be a really cool artistic choice. But if you want to have nice, sharp stars, remember, focal length is the magnification of your lens on the camera. Remember, the 500 rule can be very handy when photographing the Milky Way or any wide-angle nightscape shot that includes the stars above. You take 500 divided by the focal length of your lens, and that equals how long your exposure is in seconds before the stars begin to trail. For example, if you're trying to use a Canon T6 with the EFS lens on it, which is an 1855 kit lens, you divide 500 by 18. Assuming that you want to use the widest angle possible, then you would get 27.77777. You get the point. Now, the nature of this hobby is that you're bound to the weather, and clear skies are needed for astrophotographers. And they know it can be quite rare to have a clear night's sky, especially during Milky Way season. So when they do happen, it's important that you have your gear ready to rock and roll. When is the Milky Way visible, you ask? Well, between March, our galaxy is the most visible if you get up before dawn. And in summer, it can be seen at midnight. And by October, it happens right after dusk. Now, the apps I use is Magic Hour to let me know when golden hour and when blue hour is gonna happen. And I use moon phase, so that lets me know when the moon sets and when it rises. I'll put links in the description below here and for the apps for you to try out for yourself. Now, one of the biggest hurdles you're gonna have to overcome when doing this type of photography is learning how to focus your camera for an astrophotographer. The camera lens needs to be on manual focus. It will just sit there and hunt and hunt and hunt for focus when it cannot find anything in the dark. So make sure that you're set in manual focus. What you really want to do is take the time to focus your camera before you head out, and then use a piece of tape on the end of your lens to make sure that it doesn't lose its focus. And out of focus shots are just completely unrecoverable, okay? Now, you could have noise and a trailing star can be corrected, but, to an extent, but an unfocused shot cannot. It is ruined, it's just ruined. What is the most absolutely necessary tools for astrophotography is having a sturdy tripod. It is an absolute must for capturing images of the night sky, no matter what types of optics you're using. The long exposure and the steady nature of night photography demands that you have a camera that remains completely and utterly still. Ball head tripods are, they're advantageous because they allow you to point your camera straight up into the night sky or anywhere in between. And since I don't have one of those, I'm using a tripod that can shoot in portrait, AKA verticals, and you can shoot in landscape, AKA horizontals. So no tripods are created equal, so mounting your DSLR camera and lens, you'll need to make sure that it's locked in place and does not move over time due to an imbalanced weight or anything like that. So make sure all your adjustment knobs are secured before stepping away and ensure the camera does not fall, and take the time to understand how your tripod works in the daytime before venturing out in the night, because it can be hard to see what you're doing. So you're gonna wanna bring a headlamp or have an app on your phone that can turn your screen red. That way your eyes can remain adjusted to the dark. Plus, you wanna be confident that your camera and lens are secure, and you don't wanna be falling off and busting what could be a very expensive accident that can be completely avoidable. Any shake of the camera caused by something actually touching the camera just ruins the image. There's a simple way to avoid this. You can use a simple timer or delay built into your camera settings. The setting will be found in your drive mode area in your camera. Usually the range is between 2 and 10-second delay. Now, you can use a remote shutter release to help you control the captures. That's also a good way. to not touch your camera and to avoid blurry images with long stars and trails. But the advanced way I use is, if your camera is capable of it, make sure you use Wi-Fi Connect to your phone using an app, to your tablet or anything like that. That way you have no way, you don't have to worry about it at all by touching your camera. You can control all the settings right there in front of you. So that means you can pull out a chair, grab a beer, relax, take some beautiful, awesome images without having any bumping or blurry images. Even with the most expensive camera lens, you'll have a hard time producing a sharp, well-corrected stars with the aperture wide open or lowest f-stop number as possible. Most often, changing the f-stop to 1 or 2 steps slower will result in sharper stars to the edges of the field. So if you don't know what stopping down your camera lens means, it means to drop or drop your f-stop to a slower aperture with a greater depth of field, i.e. coming from f3.5 to f4.5. Collect less starlight amount of time it takes you to get your image sharper. It's definitely a trade-off, but it's hard often to justify capturing less light with an image, especially for longer focal length images that includes a galaxy or a nebula, and it depends on what lens you're actually using. For example, I'm using a Canon 18-55. I'll opt to shoot at 5.6 because it produces a sharper image overall, and if you're nifty-50 shooters out there, especially using the 1.8, you can bring it up to f3.2, and this helps sharpen your image up and improves the quality of life in your stars and in the edge of the field. I hope that you learned at least 2 or 3 new tricks to try outside the next time you're out there with your camera on nights where it's beautiful like this. Now, when everything goes right, it's so easy to stay motivated for your next project, but on the other hand, when you're plagued by technical issues such as tripods breaking, or your camera not working, or you're forgetting your memory cards, or the weather, can be very discouraging. So I urge you to push forward with your own techniques and take stock of your own personal improvement between images. It's a process, okay? And so I'm Taylor Tommila. Thank you so much for watching this video and taking the time out of your busy day to watch this video. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you take the time to subscribe and please take a look at my Patreon if you can. It's a great way to keep Honda Dash Films a business and keep us going here.